Hello and welcome back to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. So we are taking a look at the Colossus builder figure from the Age of Apocalypse Wave 2 from Marvel Legends. So I'm going to put him together right now in front of you guys as part of the video, just to show how easy he goes together. Now, historically, some of the builder figures have needed a little bit of heat in order to get the particular parts in, but the more recent ones seem to slot together quite nicely, and Colossus is no exception. He is going together really, really nicely. Now, I'm not going to delve too deep into the character in the Age of Apocalypse comic books. Go ahead, read yourselves and see what that guy does in the comics, but he's definitely a character that was needed for this particular wave. If they were going to do Age of Apocalypse, they had to give us Colossus, and obviously they gave us Kitty Pryde or Shadowcat as well as part of this wave, which was a nice little touch because at the end of the day they get married. Alright, so I've given a little bit away. But anyway, back to the figure. He's gone together really nicely. Now we've got two additional hands, which is a nice touch. They came with the arms. I'm just going to turn the camera up a little bit there. Yeah, so the figures that came with the arms also came with the two additional hands. Obviously he is a tank. He is a really nice sized figure. Now Sabretooth was the biggest figure in the wave, and you can see side by side with Colossus, he even stands over him a little bit. So only a little bit, but he is still a much bigger figure. So he's a good sized builder figure. As far as builder figures go, this guy is definitely cool. Now, pulling in one of the older versions of Colossus we got, and I'll get the more recent version as well. You can see that this version stands pretty much the same size as the other versions, which is nice and consistent, and it means that all of your Colossus figures kind of fall in the same kind of height bracket. Now, obviously, there's a massive difference between the chroming on all three of them. One of them has a very dull-looking chrome, one of them has a very chromy-looking chrome, and the Age of Apocalypse kind of stands in the middle here. So the heads don't really match up massively. Surprisingly, though, the older version with the duller-looking chrome matches up better, but I'll get back to that a little bit later. So what can I say about him? Well, the articulation is very nice. There's obviously all the points of articulation that you would expect in the arms, the legs, the waist, the shoulders, and he's got quite a lot of flexibility. So he'll be great for posing and taking photos of. What's a really nice touch is the little bit of the end of his bandana here. You actually have to push in yourself, so you can twist that around. I've just pulled it out, but you push it in yourself. It's just like a little peg and a little hole, and you can move that around, so obviously it can be blowing in the various different directions depending on how you pose him for that display or that photograph, which is a nice touch because historically with bandanas and tassels and stuff, they're fixed in one position, so having that flexibility to move it around is a nice little addition. But as I said, as far as the builder figure goes, he is nice, he's big, he's bulky, he's articulated, so I'm really pleased. What's also cool is that his pads and his shoulder pad and his straps and that also come off. So if I just pull his head off, because that'd be the easiest way of doing it, you can unbuckle his belt here. The shoulder pad comes over the top. Obviously it's linked in there as well, but just pull that over his arm and then it comes off and you get a nice kind of shirtless version of Colossus. Now you can't take his gauntlets or his boots off, so they are as they are, but obviously in the comic books and the television series and stuff, you saw Colossus with his top off quite a lot because of his like chromed out body, which was always really cool to look at in the comic books. So having this version without a top on is really nice. Now the dull version of the Colossus that we had, this version here, even though it doesn't look like it, it actually colour matches a lot better than the newer version, the much more kind of shiny version. So if I just pop on one of these heads, because in this version we obviously got two heads. We got the bearded sculpt that's on the figure, and we got the non-bearded sculpt, the clean shaven look. Now it does look a little bit small because the body is so big, which I'm surprised at actually. I thought that it was going to look a little bit better. But if you have a look at the heads next to each other, there is a slight difference in size. But I think with enough moving around, it wouldn't look too bad in display. So you also have that option. So you can also have him all chromed out, like with minimal clothes on, just kind of really showing off that mutant power there. Actually, I've just had a thought. Put the bearded version on and the head actually looks a little bit bigger. Now that is a really cool look, I think. That's a really cool look for Colossus. Now obviously if you're going to use this alternate head with a beard and put him on like a shirtless chromed out version of Colossus, then you're going to have to obtain another builder figure. So I'm going to keep mine as an Age of Apocalypse, but it is cool to have that alternate look for photography and stuff. So yeah, I'm just going to put this back on the way that it went. So I've got to put the shoulder pad on first and then the strap. But yeah, he's a really cool Build-A-Figure, really big, really bulky, really articulated, represents the comic book very, very well. So I have zero complaints there at all. And you've seen me put him together. Now I'm nearly out of the 5 minutes. I'm going to run over ever so slightly just so I can put him back together. But you saw me dismantle him and put him together on camera, so you can see just how easy he is to go together. But he is definitely a Build-A-Figure worth picking up. Do not sleep on this guy. Get hold of him because I think he's going to be a popular one going forward. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Oh, yeah.